Hey guys, this is Blue Collar Future Podcast. I'm your host Jaden Robison. We got our host Jessie Demler with us today. Jessie, what is going on?
Man, just hanging out. Nice, beautiful Sunday.
All right, dude, it's freaking awesome out there right now. And I mean, I've been working all morning in the yard, but it still is kind of nice because it doesn't have the same weight on you as being at work. So, on one hand, I'm doing manual labor out there, but also I'm not really in a rush to do anything. Just kind of like hanging out, doing, picking away at it. So, nice weather though. Awesome. You've been playing basketball today and getting all tatted up.
Yeah, I was watching basketball today because I can't. I got my PRP injections in my knee about 6 weeks ago, and he finally cleared me to play. So I played indoor yesterday for the first time, and then today I just went and watched. It was the first week of the Hispanic League up here. So I got a bunch of friends that play in that, and like, it's not really a Hispanic League only. Like, there's, that's just who started it, and so we all go hang out and watch, and like, there's ladies selling tacos and enchiladas, and like all sorts of stuff. So it's like a community event, and it's fun to see all the boys and stuff. So it makes it fun. So we were just, me and Butter went and sat on the sidelines with a couple other friends and watched a couple of games, and then came back home.
Yeah, that's fun. That's fun. Well, we were talking before we were recording, and this is going to kind of go into what we're going to talk about today. But you've been working out of town, and there's a lot of things that you have to work through when you're working out of town, and you're working through them right now, like not being able to see your wife that much, and because she's working weekends and stuff. But like, it got us thinking it'd be good to talk about chasing money and working and stuff. I mean, you guys have that job out of town, but a lot of people choose to do it. And how do you stay sane when you're out on the road and all that stuff?
Yeah, a little like work-life balance talk, and figuring out things like enjoy your life and don't get to the end of it and look back and be like, oh man, all I did was work. I think that would be.
Yeah. You were telling me. I saw this quote that I've written down before, and I've talked about a lot. Nobody gets to the end of an unfulfilled life thinking they wanted to be there. Like, how many older guys do you talk to that are like, man, I wish I spent more time doing other things. All I've done is work my entire life. And nobody starts off in their 20s being like, I'm just going to work forever. You can enjoy your job, but nobody is like, I'm just going to work forever. This is going to be my entire life. And I mean, how does it get like that? I mean, I feel like a lot of people that work out of town end up being in that situation because usually people are chasing the money because you can get more money being out of town working and that type of stuff.
Yeah. But I remember watching a thing on, I think Dad was watching like 60 Minutes or something, and they went out there to this was a couple of years ago, maybe even a decade ago, about they went out to the oil fields and were talking to people, and like just the idea, like those young kids, younger, like in their early 20s, and they're like, you've got a brand new truck, you've got a brand new camper trailer, you've got the bike, the Harley, the side by side, whatever it is, you got all this stuff, and they'd be like, how much money do you have in your savings account right now? And they're like $2,000. It's like, because you have all this stuff, and I think that's what happens is people do like those guys, they go out and they're like, I'm making big money, I better go like have all the toys, do all this stuff, but then like it's just lifestyle creep. So like, you, instead of like keeping your life here and bringing your income to here, you bring your life right with it, and then you have to keep doing that over and over again. And like, that's why a lot of dudes or anybody in trades, it's like you get so used to the money, and then you're like, well, let me pick up side jobs, or let me go do this, or do overtime, or whatever sort of thing. But instead of like learning to pocket that money, you bring your lifestyle up to it because like, oh, I can afford all this, but then you're trapped in that. Like, it's basically you're handcuffing yourself to that lifestyle.
Yeah, I mean, you're essentially forcing it that you've got to work constantly for forever. I fell into that trap a little bit, but I feel like I didn't get it too bad because I saw my dad having to work his butt off and work a ton over the years, and he's also being more conscious about that and not wanting to like force everybody to work a ton of hours and all that. Yeah, I mean, it's a hard thing because everybody thinks that all the money's going to save them, but it's more about It's more about making sure you have savings and you're not over, spending what you make than it is about just making a ton more money. I mean, what is it? What number is it? It's like once you make over $70,000, your quality of life doesn't improve at all, which is
Yeah, it's
crazy
like your
that that's all it takes.
satisfaction doesn't.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, like once you make over 70, the amount of money you make over that doesn't improve your life at all, which
Mm.
that sounds like a really low number. And people are always chasing, like, I want to be a millionaire, millionaire. It's like, well, what does that mean for you? What are you going to do to get there? And do you need that? Like, do you actually
Mm.
want that? I don't know. It's a tough conversation, especially right now where everything's so expensive. But I felt that a little bit myself too. I mean, like I said before we started recording, I am not in a position right now where I feel like I need to work constantly, but I have been there almost all the way up until right now,
Hmm.
where I've just been in a mindset where I just need to like do stuff. That's why, realistically, why I started the podcast, why I started doing social media stuff, and I was doing a bunch of side jobs and doing all this stuff. It's like I always feel like I gotta be doing something and making money, and now it's like, how about let me just sit at home and enjoy my free time and do what I want instead.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I've been there, like, especially when we were trying to buy this place. It was like I was just working sun up to sundown every day. That, and I was like the same time I got sober. So I was like, well, if I'm too busy, I'm not going to think about that. So, like, that was kind of a double edged sword. But it's like I'm same boat as you now. It's like I have a saving, I have money and like all that sort of stuff. So it's like certain things pop up and it's like, no, I don't really need to go work Saturday, or like I don't need to go do that side job, or like, that sort of stuff. So it's like I can sit back and enjoy, like hanging out with my family or going fishing or just going and sitting for 4 hours at the park to watch other people play basketball because those are my friends. Like,
yeah.
I'm not like worried about it. I'm just like, oh no, this is enjoyable. What? Like, sure, there's some things where like I need to make more money because like I more responsibility or more task where I'm like, okay, I need to be compensated more for the stress
Hmm.
or things like that, or like if I want to go, like if we moved to a different house or a different truck or like those little things. But like it's like we were talking about a second ago. It's, I mean, we've all done those things where it's like, oh, you get a new car, you get a new thing, and it's like the dopamine lasts for like 2 weeks or even that. So it's like, does this really do anything for me? That's why like I still drive my truck that's paid off. Like I want a new truck, but like I'm gonna be stoked about it for like 2 weeks, and I'm like, okay, yeah, well, it's another work truck and it's dirty again. Sick. Like now I'm paying for
Which
this
is
one.
funny.
Like what?
Which is funny. I bet that there's a lot of people that follow you that are like, "Man, why didn't you just go buy a truck? You make plenty of money, dude. Why didn't you just go do it?" And
Mm-hmm.
when you start making money and saving it, it becomes really hard to part with it. That. I mean, I'm sure you're looking at that sticker tag, of $90,000 or 80,000 or whatever, and you're like, I don't really feel like just giving this away right now just for a truck because what's
Yeah.
it gonna do for me?
Yeah. Exactly. And that's like when we were looking at houses a little while ago. I was like, unless it's perfect, I don't really want to triple my mortgage payment right now. Like, I'm like, do I want a yard, like a bigger yard and like a little more privacy and stuff? Yes, but it's like the financial strain that comes with it. I'm like, I can just keep saving money, I guess, because like I
Yeah.
don't need to do this. But yeah, I do think that one would gather me a little bit more peace of mind personally. But
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
that becomes that's a mindset shift a little bit that I've come through, um, where we need to get a new vehicle probably soon, and we got all these other things that we probably need to be getting soon, but we don't really need them, and
Hmm.
I'm not about to go drop 20 or 30 grand on like a car just because whatever. Like I don't
Hmm.
really we don't need it right now, and I'm not in a rush. And just because I see something that looks sort of decent, a sort of decent deal, I'm not like antsy for it, if that makes sense. Like any other
Hmm.
time in my life that I've been looking for vehicles or trying to make moves and stuff where I've had less money and less ability to, I've been so much more antsy to do things and jumpy to do things And right now it's
Hmm.
like I look at it and I'm like, yeah, I don't want to spend money right now. I don't need to do that. I like having money in my savings account, and it's not
Hmm.
necessary.
I feel like too, like you start to get money, and it's like, oh, like, or to me, maybe it felt like, like my savings account was like zero, and then it hit a certain amount of money, like whether it was 1,000, it's like cool, 1,000 means zero now, like, or 5,000 or 10,000 means
Yeah.
zero. Like that doesn't go below that, And so I'm like, I don't want to. I got here. It took me long enough to get here. I don't want to do that again.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and I built up my emergency savings, and I think our number we were looking at was like 15,000 or something, just to
Uh,
make sure, just to have emergency money,
yeah.
And essentially, once we hit that, I was like, okay, I have $0 now, like
Yep.
that is gone. And then something weird has happened over since then, where I start like allocating money random places and start stashing it away, and
Hmm.
it
You're
make
like
it
digging holes in the backyard. That's what you're
yeah,
doing.
pretty much. Or like a chipmunk or a squirrel, like collecting my nuts in different places, and stashing them away. And I'm like, okay, I got this money. Let's put it over here. Okay, I have $0 now.
Hmm.
Part of it stresses me out a little bit, because like when I get money, I save it, and
Hmm.
then it's like I don't have any money anymore. Like I don't have any money to spend. But then I go look at savings that I have, and it's like, okay, if something happened, we're like plenty fine. We're totally fine, and that gives me more peace of mind than anything, to be able to do what I want. And then, like I said before we started recording, that it feels like the less that I've made making more money my focus, the more
Hmm.
money I've been able to make, and then the more opportunities for making money have come up, and I can be really picky about them, and also less strain. Like even up until like a couple years ago, I had been so focused on I need to make more money, I need to make more money. And as soon as I started shifting it to like, no, I think I'm not gonna do that side job, or I'm not gonna work this Saturday, or I'm not as worried about it. It
Hmm.
totally shifted in the amount that's come into me, and I don't know what if that's how your scenario was too, but it's really weird to me.
Yeah. Yeah. Just for like opportunities and other things too, especially with like the social media and work and whatnot. It's like I'm definitely more comfortable, I guess. And so now it's like when certain things come up, I'm like, oh, I don't need to go do that little job. Like I can give that to one of the younger guys on the crew, or someone else that's like, because like at a certain time I was like, no, I can take that and do this, or like I can take that and work toward the house, or I can take that and whatever. But now it's like, well, they need that now, and like I'm good, I'm chilling. So it's like I can give the mailbox job, to Steven or Mike or Jackson or Kyle, or that little stuff. Or like I can, instead of trying to do a side job all by myself, I'm like I can bring three guys and it gets done in a day rather than 3 days. And
Mm.
but it, that sort of stuff, because it's like I've like you said, it seems like the more that's come is the more that's like it's all like it's a law of attraction thing. But I'm not gonna do the alpha bro thing and get into that. But like
Yeah,
I
I
feel
mean,
like more attracts more is more
yeah.
or less.
Yeah, I mean, you hear about that a lot. You hear people say that a lot, and it sounds really weird. It sounds stupid, but it kind of is true, and it kind of works.
Hmm.
And honestly, for me, it felt like it started when I started saving more money than I was spending,
Hmm.
because I think in part made me less focused on making money and more on just being better, I guess. I could focus more energy on trying to be better. I'd say in the content space, but also at work. Like I'm not super stressed out about not having money,
Hmm.
and then also maybe in some way it does actually bring more opportunity in. I don't know. It's something that I've noticed and paid attention to. I mean, we originally we're gonna talk about your working out of town thing as well,
Hmm.
because this ties into it. But like I was thinking about that this weekend, because I keep having more and more jobs pop up, and I've turned some down and been like, yeah, that's not really worth it to me. No, I need this much to do that, because otherwise, like, I'd rather just be at home. I'd rather just be at
Yeah.
home and spend time with my family, or work on my house, or just do something. Yeah. What do you think? What do you think on that?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, a lot of it's probably better habits being created or better diligence. Like you're saying, it's like you build that habit of like, okay, I always save this much. So it's like, maybe it's not so much that like more money is coming in, but we've gotten to that point where like this is just a habit now. So it's like,
Mm.
oh, of course that's going to grow because you've built it to this point, and now whether it's compound interest and that habit that's growing, just on its own, if you will. So it's
Yeah.
like, oh, of course, there's more money because the habit's there, and like there's other things or like investment or whatever it may be.
Hmm.
And so yeah, and then that's I guess would be a lot of it, and then
Yeah.
the like you said, the thing with like now I'm working at town and like we're doing it because that's where the job is. Like that's what our schedule fell on, and I've done it a couple times, but it's not like I'm not seeking out of town work because it raises my pay and my per diem and all that sort of stuff like a lot of guys do. I feel like a lot of them travel just because of that. And so it's like we're just doing it because it's a necessary evil that for the next 3 months. And it's tough because it's like, I said, I come home, my wife works every other weekend down in Salt Lake, and we're both pretty busy, because we're young and we're trying to, we are still trying to do stuff, even though I'm telling you guys that I'm comfortable. But there's a certain breaking point where like, okay, like if it wasn't at this, it wouldn't be worth it. And I'd be like, well, why don't we, go do something else? And it's the same for the office, right? Or like, when it comes into not just your salary, but also like the job itself. If we're going to go out of town, that means every employee gets per diem, every employee gets, a 4-day work week, every employee gets a hotel room, like all this sort of stuff that like the cost goes up. So it's like the job's not just worth materials, labor, and that it's there's more headache involved with it. So it's like the bid has to be right to get to that point. And like, I mean, like the whole ecosystem, it grows at that point, and it's, I think so, like we've been talking about, some people get stuck chasing that because it's like, they bring their lifestyle up to it. It really is the only reason I could think of it. It's just like, oh, I got to keep paying for it, so we got to keep going that way. But I'm
Yeah.
glad that we're not like doing that. It's just the fact of the matter is we got a building that was 2 hours away from home, so we're staying out of town Monday through
Yeah.
Thursday.
Yeah. Which has always been strange to me that you can get jobs out of town that you have to include per diem and hotels and all that stuff in it. Somehow, still you can win the bid and be worth it compared to like local companies, which are going to be cheaper most likely,
Yeah.
just based on that. Yeah, and there's a lot of people that do it. There's a lot of people that do out of town work. Always that you always have per diem cost on doing that type of stuff, and
Hmm.
the numbers are always increasing. So it's really crazy to think about. How are you keeping like grounded out there? Because obviously you're not home. You're not going home to be with your wife or your dog or anything like that. And you're really with your coworkers 24/7, or
Yeah.
like how.
Yeah. Yeah, it's almost like you're working 96 hours, not 40. But it's, like I've done it before when I was younger, where like I was the only young guy on the crew. So it was like I was with all the old dudes, and it sucked because like they don't do anything. Like they're just, they're older, like at that time, and like maybe they were drinking or doing other things and whatnot. And it just wasn't as fun. But now this go around and like a couple before, I've had people that are my age or like in my interests. So it's like
Yeah.
now we get up there Monday. Depends, like if there's been an NHL playoff game or NBA that we want to go watch. There's a couple spots in town that we found and like made friends with the staff and stuff like that. So it's like, oh, we have that little routine now. We get off work, we go do that, hang out there for like 2 hours, come on back, and then or we've I fly fish. So like that's even at home when I need to feel grounded. I go out in the water. Like there's just something about water for me that's like that's one of the things that's always kept me grounded. So it's really nice in Idaho Falls, the South Fork of the Snakes right there, or a couple reservoirs, things like that. And luckily enough, Steven's super into fishing. Jackson's wanting to learn. Mikey's always down for a good time. So it's like we got that aspect. And then it's one of the days, it seems like every week we get all the boys together and just grill in the parking lot and hang out and just kind of bullshit with each other. But it's like making it so we're not just sitting in a hotel room watching TV or, any of that stuff. And that's really helped a lot. And then it's, the first part of Christina and I's relationship was long distance. So like we started that way. So we've done it before, and like not to say it makes it any easier because it still sucks, but it's, we've done the phone call thing before and hanging and whatnot, and then it's when you come home, you have to be intentional about carving out that time together. So,
Hmm.
hey, we're both busy. We both have things going on that we're both trying to create. So it's like when the opportunity presents itself, it's like, hey, no, we're doing this together. We're doing that, intentional about it. And so it's like, we spend quality time together here at the house, but then it's, we go do something like the other weekend. We went to that concert, had dinner together, or, we go down like, I think next weekend we're going to ride the Harleys down and go to the car show in Ogden on 25th Street and, do a date night and like just try to make the weekends more intimate because there's less time together. And so it's at least like having activities with people I enjoy and then being able to come home and be intentional about it with my wife rather than just kind of floating through it. So it's like not the most miserable experience of my life.
Yeah, I mean, those situations really make or break people. Like I was saying, I've known a lot of people to practically ruin their relationships by out of town work, but also people that just are serial workaholics that will just only work, 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 work. And I feel like I've been really close to falling into that trap myself many times. I've always felt like you are pretty good at doing things that you like. I like fishing, and you and Christina go out of town quite a bit,
Mm.
and go to lots of events and stuff. But like, there has to be something to the work. You can't just, if all you do is work and work and work and make that money, you're going to get to the end of your life looking back thinking, man, I didn't do anything that was enjoyable. Have any
Mm.
sort of goals. Like you said, I don't know, I think this was before we started recording, but you feel like you almost start to feel like you're on a stair stepper to nowhere. Like all of
Yeah.
the accomplishments are meaningless. I mean, what is all that money if all you do is work? We lost it for there for a second. We're
Sorry, we
back.
had some technical difficulties over here.
Yes. I don't remember. The money's got to be worth or for something. Like you got to be able to do things you enjoy. I mean,
Mm.
I it's hard because a lot of people play the comparison game. They'll look around at everybody around them and be like, "Man, these people have these nice cars and this big house, and they go out of town all the time." But you don't see their finances, but like so people trying to keep up with the Joneses will work for to make all this money
Mm.
to just keep up with the payments to keep up with everybody else and all their expensive stuff. And I think you just need a balance of, doing things you enjoy and just worrying about your own stuff, not caring what anybody else does, because you get into a point where it's just work. And I've sort of been in that. I've
Mm.
just been working forever. I mean, I ever since I graduated high school, it's been like a constant, always doing something, and it pretty much got worse when I got married. It was more like we were
Mm.
both just working and building businesses or whatever, and doing this podcast and trying to do a bunch of extra jobs, and we stopped doing things that are fun. We used to go camping and backpacking and fishing and doing a lot of stuff that we enjoy. And I haven't been doing any of that stuff for years now because I've just been so focused on working. And
Mm.
part of that you need, and part of that it's helped me. It's helped me to get where I am right now. But I'm at a point where I'm realizing or seeing a direction I'm heading where if I keep working myself into the ground and not doing anything I enjoy, it's just going to continue like that forever. And so,
Mm.
I mean, the other day I was even thinking that me and my wife and our kid should go fishing because I've been thinking about fishing all the time, and I always see you're fishing, and I'm like, man, I want to go fly fishing. Like I
Yeah.
miss it. There's something about being out on the river that's freaking awesome,
Yeah.
and I think being conscious enough to realize that the money is not always the only thing is super important.
Yeah. I'm gonna hard to. So there's a saying that kind of started to stick with me, and the saying is that it's hard to see the forest for the trees, right? And that was like the same thing because, like, I mean, you just built your house, you've got your kid, you've got 100 things going on, and like that's there's a season in my life where like I was just going as hard as I could trying to get to like a certain goal or whatever, and it's you're so focused right here, you're laser focused on all this that you can't see what you're really in the middle of. The day to day wins over the big picture. That's what it's getting at, is, the forest for the trees.
Mm-hmm.
You can see the trees, but you don't know you're in a forest, right? And I remember that sticking with me of like, just because I was doing that, and like you said, I got to that point where I was like, I do this, I come home, I scroll on my phone, we just kind of do whatever and do it again. And I was like, like for instance, like I'm pretty decent at golf, especially when I practice. Like fishing makes me happy because I'm in the water, riding our bikes together, or like doing little dumb things. Like when Pokemon Go was big for a little, that's what we'd do. We'd go to campus, walk around, and play it, just because it brought us time together and over some
Mm-hmm.
little thing that we were doing. But it was like an intentional thing, like you were saying, is just I had to step back and zoom out and look at the forest and be like, well, you know, what am I doing here? And like, is my quality of life gonna, if I keep going this way, what's my quality of life gonna be? And even though like my work ethic and the opportunities have presented me, like that have been presented to me, have made my life better. It's like I don't, I feel like if you're just in this perpetual grind, like what's the point? Because you're never gonna enjoy anything else.
Mm-hmm.
So it's, like it's even to the point like when I take Butter out on walks, like I don't bring my phone
Mm-hmm.
because I know that I'm gonna sit. Like, I'm either going to be, on social media looking for something, or someone's going to call me, or something's going to get brought up about like work or life or something else. I'm like, I just need this 15 to 30 minute break of like, it's just me and the dog, or me and the dog and Christina. And it's like, I'm just present in this moment. And it's like, cool. And like, you ground yourself in that. And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
well, like, all he's worried about is going on a walk with me and sniffing a bush. Like that's all that. So why am I worried about 100 other things while he's just happy to be with me on a walk? And so I'm trying to like be better about that intentionally. And
Mm-hmm.
it's just like what you said. It's like you're like I can view that if I keep going this way, like I'm gonna miss out on all this stuff. So it's like you got to stop and like carve out a little bit of time of
Mm-hmm.
like we're gonna go do this thing. Like we have to. If we don't make a plan about it, it won't happen. Is what it felt like to me. It's like we can talk about. It's like when you see someone at the store that you haven't seen for a while, and it's like it could be you and me, and we're like, dude, we should go get dinner sometime. You never do it because you don't make the plan, right?
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, sometime. Like, oh, I should go fishing sometime. Oh, I should go golfing sometime. Oh, I should go do this with my friends sometime, and it just never. So like, it just comes down to being intentional, but especially for those of us who like have a really strong drive or work ethic. That's like, or like a lot of us have our identity wrapped up in work. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm worth what I'm worth because of what I'm able to do at work, and like that's what our lives revolve around sometimes. And it's like, well, you need to set a plan to be like, well, I'm not just a mason, I'm not just a foreman, I'm not just this. I'm also, like you said, I'm also a fly fisher. I also play golf. I'm also like mediocre at basketball, and I have friends that I want to see there and talk shit with, and that sort of thing. So it's like I think that was another thing I saw one time was this dude was talking to, it was like an old guy in Italy, and he's like, what do you do? And our American response is, oh, this is what I do for work. He goes, well, what about you? And he goes, oh, I play tennis. He's like, oh, you're a professional tennis player? He goes, no, I just play tennis Tuesdays and Thursdays with my friends. He goes, I really like that. And it's like just that mindset shift of like, I'm, like work is work or whatever, but like I identify as this.
Yeah.
So it's like that little story always stuck with me too, because I'm like, no, I am a lot of these things. Like I'm not just this one thing. So it's, I don't know. It's the common thread that we have in a lot of our, almost all of our episodes, is like intentionality, and
Yeah.
do it. Like if you want things to happen, be intentional about them, and like reverse engineer those sort of things and make plans for them and stuff. Like, I mean, I got to the point like this probably sounds hilarious to some people, but like that scenario of like when I run into someone at the store that I haven't seen in a long time, and they're like, we should go get dinner sometime. I'm like, cool. Are you free on Thursday at 6? And because it's like, otherwise we're not doing it. Like,
Yeah.
and people look at me funny, and they're like, well, give me a sec. And I'm like, no, like, don't say it. Like,
Yeah.
just because I know I'm the type of person like, hey, let's go get it sometime. And then next time I'll see you in 3 months, it's like, hey, bro, we should still get that dinner sometime. Like, no, let's just do it. Like, let's go eat lunch Saturday at noon or 1, or like, hey, come do this. And that's because otherwise I just know that it doesn't happen. And it's like, that's the same thing with everything else in life of like, I could go do 80 hours, and work 40 hours overtime and do work and like, cool. Like I'm succeeding because I'm really good at my job and like all this sort of stuff. But I'm like, I never, if I do that, I'm never gonna go like be the fly fisherman or be the golfer or be a Padres baseball fan or take my dog to the beach and have that memory or ride my Harley with my wife or ride our bikes together and get that time together because it's just you're not intentional about it, and that's I'm trying to like be very good about that, and that's why I think I bring it up every time that we discuss like how
Yeah.
to do something. So it's like
Yeah.
out of all the tattoos I have, I'm surprised there's not one about being intentional. Just put it right here on my
Yeah.
forehead or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's funny you said that because I'm at a point where when someone says something like that to me, like, oh, yeah, we should get dinner sometime, and it's someone I haven't seen in forever and I don't get together with, I'm almost want to be like, no, I don't think so. I
Yeah,
don't think we will. Or no, I
yeah,
don't want to. Because like I don't even get together with people that I talk to regularly often enough, let alone someone that I haven't seen in forever. And I'm like, I
yeah.
don't really need to go hang out with you. Like I got all this other stuff to do.
Hmm.
Not that I don't want to necessarily, but it's more like it's just gonna be this next time we see each other in 3 months. Oh yeah, we should get together sometime. I'm like, yeah, yeah, sure.
Hmm.
We're all busy, and
Yeah.
it's just a side effect of our American culture, which is why it's funny you brought that up about the story with the French guy or whatever he was,
Italian.
Italian guy. We're all so focused on making money and and then our identity becomes our job. And it's a side effect of being someone that's kind of a high achiever. I mean, you focus a lot on your work and you get really good at your job and you can make a lot of money, and then that becomes like all you care about and all you want to do. And I've been focused on that a lot too, and we talk about that a lot on here. I mean, it's perfectly normal and okay to be like that for a while, and you almost need to if you're, I mean, to get good at your job. Like, and if
Mm.
depending on where you're going, you almost need to have a little bit of that, but you also need to be able to rein it back and be like, no, I need to figure out some things I like to do in my spare time and spend some time with my family so it doesn't just become only work and my
Mm.
only goal is making money. And it's, I think, part of what's brought me around to right now is I'm getting to a point where I can do that. Like I'm perfectly comfortable, but also I've been doing a little bit more of things that I enjoy and spending more time doing nothing, but also like I've been reading a lot. I mean, I got a lot of books in my background right now. I've been
Hmm.
spending time not trying to constantly produce, I guess we'll say,
Hmm.
not trying to constantly make money or do things. And that's helped me with my not being on my phone as much as well, like reading and being able to like focus my brain on something rather than getting on my phone and just doom scrolling, because that's the worst thing
Mm.
that we can do in this world right now is be so focused on work that that's like all your identity is, and then you get home from work and then you just scroll on your phone until bed. I mean, what kind of
Hmm.
a life is that? And it's crazy because a lot of people will do that and they don't even like their job, they don't even like what they
Hmm.
do, and they'll just work constantly, and then they'll get home and then they'll just sit on their phone forever. And it's like, well, what are
Hmm.
you doing? What are you doing about it? You've got plenty of time to, figure out something. And it's all about being intentional with it.
Yeah, and I think yeah, you gotta want to do that, like like the travel thing or whatever. When I was younger, I didn't want to get to like 60 years old and be like, gosh, I should have done this when I was younger. I should have done that when I was younger. I was one of those people that are like, oh, you can make a little bit more money. It's like, oh, it costs us this much to go do this trip. Like, I could stay in a hostel because I was single at the time, and what I like. I don't have other like these creature comforts, and it's like let's go see the world, or like let's go see this, or even now with Christina, it's like let's go, take that 3 day vacation or the 2 day vacation or whatever it is, and like let's go pop over there and go do this just to get that experience because it's what's the like you said earlier, what's the point in working and doing all this if you're not gonna do something with it? Like I don't personally want to die and be like he worked every 40 hours. Like he was really good at that. Like I don't want that, or whatever it is. Like sure, your work ethic's important and other things, but it's just that's not a life. It comes back to that. Like working in a town is like those people do that and they just get trapped in that and that's all they do. And it's like oh, we get one shot at this ride, you might as well like make it worth it. And so
Hmm.
it's like find something obviously with work that fulfills you and you're super passionate about and that you would have no problem working 6 7 days a week if the season arrived. And like that's like that is a season, but it's also having something that does that and provides the opportunity to go out and do the other things with your life, because it's you've created this much of a foundation maybe over here with the jobs that we have or like the careers that we have, that like it allows you to build something else on top of it. And that's the goal, rather than just like perpetually building a foundation, if
Hmm.
that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, I think it does. I think also there's something to be said about when you're doing things that you enjoy and you're not just constantly wrapped up in your work, you can separate yourself a little bit and then you can almost enjoy your work more than
Yeah.
if you're just constantly wrapped up in it. Because what happens a lot of times when you're just constantly wrapped up in your work is you're just constantly under that stress of trying to get the job done and trying to, you hear that?
uh
Charles is in the background. He's pushing his car around. You just like can be constantly wrapped up in the stress of getting the job done and the stress of like trying to make sure your everything is right and good and making money and all that stuff. It becomes like your whole focus, and then it's not fun anymore. It's not like
hmm
it can't be enjoyable anymore because it's just a straight up grind that is not. It's like unforgiving almost. I think
mm
when you can set time aside and do things you actually enjoy and not just constantly be wrapped up in it, you can actually enjoy what you do. And I think that goes for any job. And that's part of why I've always said that you can learn to love anything you do because it can provide you with the money and the opportunities to do things you enjoy. And you can kind of
hmm
come around to enjoy almost any career that you work in if you are not only focused on it. So,
yeah.
yeah, I like
Yeah,
that.
I totally agree with that.
Yeah, I like that.
I think too, I guess, with the seasons comment is making me think it's like it almost feels like the ocean, right? Of like maybe it's like a high tide and a low tide, or like waves coming in and going back out. It's like there's times when it's pushing that way, like it's just like, okay, I got to get a lot done right now, or like there's this and this that I need to accomplish, and I got to work really hard at that, and maybe it's the 6 7 days a week. It's overtime, it's whatever it is, but then like the tide comes back out, right? And then it's like, okay, well now I have more time to enjoy my life and like sit around and do this thing or whatever. And then it comes back in. It's like, well, we want to do this. Like I keep talking about wanting to get a different house and stuff like that. So it's like, well, maybe the tide's going to come back in, and I got to work a little bit more just to get ahead and get that, you know, that step ahead again. And then it goes like once we accomplish that, it comes back out and that sort of thing, rather than like feeling like you've just got a fire hose down your throat the whole time,
Hmm.
if that those two can be
Yeah.
comparable.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. I I wanted to talk about that a little bit too because a few months ago I was in one of those seasons at my job doing concrete that we weren't that busy and the workload wasn't that hard on us, and so I really felt like I had a lot of time and energy to do other things, and
hmm
I used that on like also at the same time I got my new laptop and I used that time to really dive in on a lot of content stuff and some opportunities that had come up, and that helped me now where we're super busy at work and it feels like I'm running around like a chicken with my head cut off, but also I was able to get a lot of stuff done then that I don't feel any sort of way that I haven't been doing much on social media. I haven't been like doing any of that stuff because I put in the work before when I had some extra time, and it wasn't even
hmm
hard on me. It wasn't like I was just constantly working. It was like I fit in some spare time here and there and put that into the bank for when I knew it was going to be busy in a few months when I
hmm
probably wasn't going to be able to do much. Like I hadn't even touched my computer in 2 weeks before 2 days ago when I got on to edit a little video to send off to Co. But
hmm
I it comes in seasons, and if you do what you can when you can, it always ends up working out. And another thing I thought of too is like if you're in one of the seasons where you're super busy and you're making a bunch of money, just make sure to save a bunch of money too, because people get into the season where they're making a bunch of money and then they just spend a bunch of money, And the biggest thing for me is like if I'm in a season where we're working a ton and I'm making a ton, I make sure every week to put a little bit more into savings or get a little bit more cash and have a little more cash on hand rather than just, oh yeah, I could go buy this sick new Blackstone I've been looking at and buying. You know what I mean? Like all this random stuff that I want but don't necessarily need. Yeah, I think rolling with knowing what season you're in and acting accordingly is probably good. And it's kind of what I've been trying to do. And I think it's been working out for me.
Yeah, I think there's something to be said too about like what you just described as giving yourself time to sharpen the axe. So it's like using it, and then you had a time where you're like, cool, well, let me go over and spend some time learning how to do this, this, and this, so that when busy season picks back up again, you got to start swinging that thing like it's easier. It's, life's not as hard because you're not trying to juggle, all of your responsibilities and learn this. So it's like, just being able to recognize when it's time to do that, and when it's time to sharpen it, and when it's time to strike. That's again an intentionality thing.
Yeah, always is intentionality. We should make a motto. I should make like a new logo and have something to do with intentionality on it. Maybe we should rename the podcast to like Blue Collar Intentionality or something like that. I don't know.
I'm gonna change my role to like Chief Reverse Engineer.
The CRO, dude, or CRE, I guess. CRE. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I think we got that pretty good. And if you don't have anything else to add,
we'll get together sometime and do the next episode.
Yeah. So be on the lookout for when we look for questions next. Last time I felt like we got pretty good questions. We got quite a few questions too. Yeah. We always like getting those, and I am maybe not that good about posting the clips separately about the questions we answered, but we always answer questions that we get. So look out for that. That'll be in 2 weeks, and appreciate you guys listening. And if anybody got anything out of this, send it to a friend who you think maybe might work too much and maybe needs to do some more things they enjoy. Maybe, Yeah.
Maybe your friend needs to go fishing with his family, and you need to send him this episode.
Yes, maybe more people just need to go fishing. That'd probably help a lot. Probably get people to not be so freaking
You were gonna say wound tight. You didn't want to do it.
I was gonna say something along those lines. Yes. So stressed out, but yes. Appreciate you, Jessie, and we'll see you guys in 2 weeks.
See you up.